Hey, what's happening, you guys? Hello. It is Friday. Hey, Simply Jan, hope you're doing well. Hello, Lisa Kalovi, hope you're doing well. That's Ryan in the thumbnail. It did let that one go. I had thumbnail issues. Every time I make it, it turns around and it's like, this is too big. Whatever. Very cool. Hey, Gwen Broke Cowgirl. Hey, Spartman. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. What's happening with you guys? It's cold here, cold and windy. We've been windy for the past few days. Spartman, I don't know if you got the wind by you yet, but woo-wee. I don't know. It was 28 earlier. I don't know what it is now. I'll take a look. Just enjoying the gale force winds. No kidding. Oh my gosh, the pine trees are swaying. I don't know what your temp is, but here it is cold. It says 25, feels like 14 now. Oh, good, Lisa. I'm glad to hear that. And Gwen said windy but not cold, rain moving in. Oof, we had some snow, just like some flurries. 33. Huh. Yeah, it is. 33 I would take. 72. Wow. Yeah, we went up to Deerfield Reservoir today to check and see if there was any ice. And I'm going to show you a picture if I can. I don't know if it'll. Oh, hang on. Welcome to my world. No ice yet. So we'll see. Hey, Holman's Homestead. Hope you guys are doing well. Just outside of a winter weather advisory. Really? Wow. Yeah, it was snowing up at Deerfield today, but no, it always is. They're higher than we are. Yeah, a lot of our smaller ones have some ice on them, and some of them defrosted. But Deerfield is a reservoir, and it's pretty windy up there, and there are like whitecaps on the water today, just around the shore. Did I see the one brave soul out on the ice trying to fish? No, I didn't. Wow. So there's only a few of you here, but what I wanted to talk about, I'm going to try and talk about it in a way that I don't get on my soapbox and lose my channel. I'm just throwing it out there because I'm very frustrated this week. We posted a video on processing a deer. And is it considered graphic to some? Yes, absolutely. If you don't want to see that, don't watch it. Don't watch it. And I agree with that. I think it's a choice whether you want to see it or not. And if you don't, I'm completely fine with that. Where I'm frustrated is that I had to get it reviewed and all of that, and I won't get into that whole nightmare, but I did it the right way. And if you'll note, I marked it appropriately. I feel I marked it appropriately with warnings and everything. And I always do that because I don't want people to see something that's going to gross them out. Because if you can't take it, I get it, everybody's different. So trying to back up. If you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you know the post I made about my frustrations and I'm trying not to use the C word. But you know how, hey, Annette at the Cow Emporium, welcome. Glad you're here. So you know how when I was sick with the illness and had complications and we had to call it cinnamon vanilla and all that stuff, right? We can't say the word. Or when homesteaders on Instagram use the VAC word, they could be talking about a sheep getting shots. Yet if we talk about it right away, they assume it's the other jab. So that's my frustration. So I posted it anyway. And I'm surprised we're having a live tonight, quite honestly. And again, let me just go back to the chat real quick. I'm sorry. Hey, Uncle Al, happy holidays, Die Bullfrog 79. Hello, Red River at Homestead. Hey, on Homestead. People today look for don't watch so they can attack and complain. It's a social norm. No kidding. No kidding. So let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody in the chat. So if you saw my post on Instagram or Facebook, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm trying to tread lightly here to be nice. But there's certain things that I refuse to be halted on sharing, and that's skills. So, not being able to show certain things is a bit much, quite honestly. Oh, no worries, Janice. No worries. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. It's more of my own stuff because I feel that sharing skills is important. So even though we didn't do a how-to, for someone who's never done it before, they can sit there and watch and they can learn something out of it, of the process. And I was thinking of Dawn Ray B., who's been out trying to get a deer. And, that's the person I was thinking of. And when I posted on Instagram and Facebook, I wrote on there to please, if you get an ad, please watch it. You know how many people reached out to me and said they were so glad that we posted it, or they wish I would have posted it earlier because it was super helpful for them. And one of the common threads is, and I agree with this, is we had that book and it was super helpful. But one of the things that was really helpful about it was the fact that when you watch an expert do it, then you go to do it and you don't have their expertise in handling it or cutting it up and so on. You feel like you're doing something wrong because it doesn't cut as easily as you thought. So, a lot of people said to me, thank you, this was so helpful because now we're going to try and do our own versus bring it to a processor, which is a huge savings. And I have to tell you, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I thought it was great. So I thought that was cool. Let me just go to the chat real quick. I know you've been busy, Uncle Al. No worries. Same here. Hey, Bland's Promised Land Ranch. I'm sure that's Monica. Yep. The inmates are now running the asylum. You got it, Spartman. Hey, Brampton Gardner. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Alicia Strange Reality. Dawn thanked us for our rabbit processing video, too. It made it so worth it. Absolutely. Your castration video was super helpful to me. So thank you. Yeah, Red, I think I did do that. I put a disclaimer warning on the thumbnail and also in the title. But if you're talking about adding it to the video, yeah, I said in the beginning of the video, we're processing a deer. And if you don't want to watch, don't watch. So I think that's enough for them. Unfortunately, the people watching her were not the issue. It was where I was posting it to. Hey, Sarah Risenswine. Hope you're doing well. No worries, Uncle Al. Oh, yeah. Same here. Same here, Monica. Zippo. Zilch. Apparently, it's available for YouTube Premium. Is the only funding it'll allow. Right now, it's at 0. On the plus side, when it all crashes, those folks make good pig food. So true. So true. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the thing. And so, getting back to why I felt compelled to share it. I didn't share it to freak people out. I didn't share it to show violence or anything like that. And you guys know me enough to know that's, even when we butchered chickens, I didn't show it. Not Rochelle, only if you want to. Please don't if it's going to gross you out. You don't need to. I mean, we do show it being skinned. We show the neck being cut off. It's typical processing. We started from where it was hanging in the garage for a few days. Hey, SD Mountain Man, hope you're doing well. There are people out there who have nothing better to do than sit on the internet and look for this kind of stuff to complain about. Yeah, and those I can deal with. Those I can deal with. They're just ignorant. You know what I mean? But it was just the mechanics of going through it. It was the first time I'd ever helped with that. And I found it amazing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, doing chickens, woohoo, But for me, this was the first big animal that I did it with, and it was really cool. So we were excited about that. And it's just, to me, once the life is gone, the soul is gone, right? It becomes meat, in my opinion. So it's reality. I will say this, I was looking at the analytics, and there were a lot of people from Instagram in the Instagram community who came over to support it because I had posted that post. So I was really impressed. A lot of YouTubers did too. Sorry, I had something in my eye. But it was really cool. I mean, I think my biggest thing was there is so much inappropriate stuff posted nowadays to all various platforms, and some of it is downright violent, inappropriate, disgusting, unnecessary, and yet when we go to process an animal, we're held back. And so that's where my frustration was coming from. Hey CB, good to see you. So anyway, that was it. So one of my things this was about sharing skills, right? If you guys didn't share skills with me, I'd be nowhere. I have taken in so much from all of you, and it's important for us to share also. And even though it may not be a how-to, and I'll give you an example of that. Hey, Lantern Creek, with the sick piglet, it was a sick piglet, right? But so many people commented and said, because you looked at his manure, you knew he had worms. Someone might not think to look at that. And so that's really important to be able to share those experiences, because even if it's not a how-to, you're sharing your experience. And so, yeah, to be better homesteaders, to be better caretakers, better neighbors. Absolutely. And that's the thing. That's what it's all about, is sharing. Because how many things have you learned from somebody else? If those skills were not shared with you, they die. How many of the younger generations are hunting? I don't know, but I worry that one day it's going to disappear. People aren't going to do it, right? Because there's a lot of us older folks who are homesteading, and it's just crazy. The Butcher Boys make a boatload of money on YouTube, and all they share is meat processing. Do they show the carcass hanging while it still looks like an animal? I'm curious, because I think that's why we got dinged. I'm guessing it was a rash picture, or when her kid got a bad burn. Oh, your mom who had one taken down? That's crazy. Yeah, exactly, Sarah. Exactly. Yep. We learned a lot from watching YouTube. And we also learned a lot of bad things on YouTube. It's real. You learn good, you learn bad, because people share their opinion. You may not have the same opinion as that person. Or you may know something different than that person. And that's what's great about it, right? One of the hardest experiences was Waylon being sick the second time, because it's what's wrong with him now? What's wrong with him? And so much research went into that. And it was YouTube, but it was also it was also like university websites, veterinary university websites, and so on about hogs, and looking into all that stuff. And it's just, you know what I mean? But it was a hard time, but it was a great learning experience because you learn so much stuff in the process. Let's see here. Thanks, Scott. Thank you, Scott. ST Mountain Man. Annette says, oh, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, I think the problem was that we requested a human review, and basically it was gutted and was hanging, and we had to skin it. But somebody needs to know how to do that, because it takes a little bit, and there's hair everywhere. You know what I mean? Absolutely, Red. Absolutely. I will look at the bearded butchers. Yeah, I've wondered what the trick is too, Scott, and I have not found it yet. Yeah, I've showed with things in the background. You know, I rated it appropriately. I said that it would, you know, when you read their guidelines, when you go to monetize and you have to rate it, I said that it could shock some viewers, which it could, but they don't have to watch it. A gambrel once with a rabbit in it. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes when you showed it before you were monetized and then you just click monetize, they don't give you a hard time. We did a squirrel butchering video and it wasn't taken down, but it took it a few days ago. I was worried to be taken down. It was up for months. Yeah, you don't have to take it down. You can just demonetize it if that's what you were worried about. Because I thought about just putting it up, and then I was like, no, I'm fighting it. Hey, Grape Jams, thanks for being here. Appreciate you listening. And thanks, Lisa Clovey, for posting all the links. Yeah, the hair is crazy when butchering deer, elk, and moose. We just constantly went over the meat. If you heard in the video, I was like, I'm checking it again. I'm checking it again. Because you just got to make sure the hair is off of it. You don't want it on there. I will look, Monica. Thank you. Yeah, and with all their views, tell me that they're not monetizing their video or not getting paid for it. I call crap. Sorry. Sandy Brock has to blow the sheep's behinds during birthing. Yeah, because they don't like bodily fluids. Yet ironic, I posted farrowing videos and didn't have an issue. So a little hit or miss there. I know Funny Farm. Oh, Claire, she's really sweet. I can't remember the name of the channel, but CJ Funny Farm. She has to blur it too. She gets in trouble for that. Yeah. On Homestead, no kidding. If they could hear what we don't share. No kidding. I know, Red. It's amazing. I've learned so much too. That's wonderful. The hair on our last cow was stupid. Oh, Grape Jams. There is a, in my butchering deer video, or I could email you if you give me your email. We bought a butchering book that was absolutely amazing, and it was super helpful with chickens, pigs, all that stuff. Hair on our last cow was stupid. Winter coat coming in, I had to constantly go over the meat. Yep, I know it. Hey, Tina Ladybug, I hope you're doing well. We love squirrel. Our favorite is fried squirrel and gravy and biscuits. Wow. We all know what happened with my videos of baby goats arriving. Yeah. How YouTube doesn't like processing meat, but I've seen channels with females with hardly anything. Exactly. That's exactly why I got annoyed. And that's why I got frustrated. When there are completely inappropriate, naked, drunk people on there doing all sorts of things, it just makes me so sad. Yeah, I'll send you the book. It's really good. I mean, I'll send you the link for it. It's a great book. Okay, perfect. Tell KK, yeah. I think I got everybody in the chat. So some of you are already saying, like, it's, you agree it's important to share skills because why? We got to learn, share the knowledge and learn. So my mom never canned. Thanks, Sonic Homestead. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. So yeah, I mean, so my mom never taught me canning because my mom never canned. And so she couldn't share that knowledge with me. So I've learned that knowledge from others, mainly Gwinnett Broke Cowgirl and Leanne at the Mennonite Farmhouse has done a ton of canning videos that have really helped me out a lot. If I were analyzing your video, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, we had to use the hacksaw, and I know it doesn't bother you. It didn't bother me either, but we attempted without it the way a butcher was doing it, and it was not working well. The hacksaw worked. And I know, I mean, cutting off the neck, right? I mean, it's gross, but it's part of the process. And we were really struggling because we couldn't get it as high as we needed it to be. That was the other problem. We need to do something there because that was not working out well at all. We had it about this far off the ground. But yeah, so what are some of the skills that you feel? Oh, bye, Monica. Have a good evening. Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Gwen. I think that if we didn't do the skinning, if we waited till it was all cut up like we did with our antelope video, it would have been different. I agree. People do need this information, know where it comes from. A bandsaw just for cutting through bones. Nice. Thank you. That's a good idea. I know he has one. I wonder if he could, Yeah, I could. I'm not worried about the money. I just didn't want, I was worried the channel was going to be taken down because we were going to get a strike. I'm not worried about the money because I'm going to share it no matter what. But yeah. Alicia, Strange Reality. Right after he shot it, they stay in the woods. He does that immediately where he dropped it and then he drags it to the car because it's lighter. And he used a pretty large pew, which dropped him immediately, and it was a fatal pew. Yes, all of the guts, Alicia, all of it, get left in the woods for the other critters to eat. You can buy stainless steel blades for a Sawzall. I know. It's so stupid. We have to talk like idiots just because we can't use the right names. And it is better to know that you're eating what you grow. Yep, or you harvest it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So anyway, that was my rant with that. But the good news is it's up and people can watch it if they want. It's still being watched, so that's good. I know my antelope processing video was a lot different because he came home with it all in coolers, in sections. And exactly, a pew pew is like, yeah, no, a pew pew is a name for a weapon that I can't talk about on YouTube. Oh, no problem. But it, whatchamacallit. So, let's talk about what are the things that you've learned from other people that are so valuable to you that you're so glad you learned it, right? You probably couldn't even quantify it or name everything because there's just so much that we get. You know what, Grape Jams? I have an idea. Hold on a second. I'm going to post the link for the book in the chat. That way you can look at it. Hey, little Frenchie. Hope you're doing well, Ann. Hope the girls are doing well. So just bear with me, guys, while I switch my accounts and look for the book. You think it would come right up. So butchering. Oh my gosh, you would think it would just come up. There we go. All right, so copy link. Let me put this in the chat. Bear with me, guys, while I do this. Because Lisa Clovey, she busts it every Friday. I want to give her a break here. Hang on, almost there. View channel. Hang on, almost there. Okay, here's the book. So I just put the link in there. I'm going to try and pin it to the top of the chat so it's there. Sorry that took me so long. It seems to take longer when I'm live, not when I'm by myself. Hey, Xander. Hope you're doing well. I've learned so much about gardening and canning, but also sewing. So many great tips. Yep. Tips are great. Tips are so great. Make things easier, right? Taking care of cattle. We watched a few, but the Cow Emporium is also very helpful. We learned from a lot of people here. Oh yeah, the Cow Emporium is great to watch. I love it. I did a homesteading academy with Glenn from the Cow Emporium. Man, I learned so much in that hour. It was amazing. Even though I've been at this for a long, long time, I still learn things on YouTube. Absolutely. Never stop learning, in my opinion. So this sounds silly, but I saw people online using kitchen scissors to cut up food instead of a knife. Mind blown. Yeah, I've seen some of that too. And I'm like, Yep, Onion Towers. Oh, do you have that book, Holman's Homestead? I love that book. That book is amazing. Oh, Xander, you've got to sleep. A good set of books to have are the Foxfire series. Have to check out that book. I got one from TSC years ago. Yep. And I really like it. I also like the story guides that you can get. I have one for pigs and chickens. I really like them too. They're great reference books. Yeah, it's a $13.99 book. It is my affiliate link. I'm being honest up front. If you don't want to buy from affiliate, that's fine. But that's the book info. But yeah, it's a great book. It's cheap. We saw it on Living Traditions Homestead when we first started looking into things, and they recommended it. And it's written by a vet, so it's a great book. It's a very cheap book too. Trying to think. Oh, it's not here. I know that we've looked at it for pigs, deer, pheasants, and chickens and turkeys. So that's been really good. But even things like books, right? Books to get, or tips on how to make things easier, or tips on what to look for, if you have a sick animal, or if you have, dealing with winter. Like when we first moved here, we had to learn how to deal with winter pretty quick, right? And we learned that things were going to freeze pretty quick. So it's just crazy. Oh, it has an ebook too? Awesome. I have this book addiction, and it has to be a book. I love books. I love books. The Stories Guide to Goats is outdated. Good to know. I like them because the ones that I have, they are, some of them are outdated, but I like the basic info in there. And then it's, for me, the hard part is right, there's not a lot of Kuni books. I have one little small one that I bought. Basically does an overview of the breed and some of the issues they come across and everything. And it's just not comprehensive. So, and that's like always the trouble I have when I'm looking up pig information is pigs are pigs, right? But commercial hogs are different than Kuni pigs, because commercial hogs are more susceptible to different things versus a Kuni. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Rochelle. I don't have it with me, but I have a booklet that I write for the people who buy piglets from us. I give them a PDF copy of how to care for them, what their feed should be, and all that stuff, and all the items that we use that work well for us. So that's really helpful. Same thing for like when they pick them up, I tell them they can't go, if it's, say they pick them up in September and it's raining, they can't go in a crate in the back of the truck, that kind of thing. Because they're still little when they're getting picked up and they're susceptible to drafts. So, all those things I tell them. Need to keep books and hard copies for the day of what if the crap hits the fan. Exactly. I like holding a book because I could sit there and look through it, because there's times I don't want to look at my phone. What I like about that butchering book is it's got simple diagrams, simple instructions, and it just makes sense. So it just makes life a lot easier. Excuse me. I can't wait to get old medical books, pre-1910s or Rockefeller. Okay. But I think that's also, going back to the books, I think it's also important to get a mentor or to have somebody who is willing to help you learn about animals. I know that Tanya at Bam Fam Homestead on Instagram just had a Highland, her cow just calved. It was a Highland cow, cute little calf. Her mentor actually is someone who raises and breeds Highland cows. And so she ended up having to come over last minute and help, because there was a big head and the head was stuck in the birth canal. That's why I don't have goats or cows. I just have pigs. They're like little jelly beans with legs. So what are some other skills you guys like to learn, or you've learned about that really have just been so great for you to learn about? I know Rochelle was saying some tips were really good. I think the canning and dehydrating, and the next thing will be curing meat, right? We'll be curing our own bacon and hams is what we're hoping to do. So that's really cool. Plus, you can bookmark pages in the book for quick reference. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was taught to interact with my books a long time ago. So I will write things in there. I will do all that stuff. And it's great. Chicken keeping for Xander. Chicken keeping. Nice. Well, let me just go back up. Sandy Brock's videos really help me when it comes to helping a goat give birth. Good. Yeah, she's always got something going on. She shows a lot on Instagram. That's where I follow her. Do you fold the pages, use bookmarks, highlighter, take notes, and or Post-its? I usually write in a pencil or a pen, and I sometimes use bookmarks or a highlighter. Not so much a highlighter anymore. When I was in school, I used the highlighter, but bookmarks, and then I have those like little Post-it flags I use. Hey, Sarah at a Homesteading Hustle. Hope you're doing well. After growing the garden and fermenting their food, I save so much money on eggs now. That's wonderful. That's great. Yes, grape jams, that is a huge thing. Putting up fence properly is a good one to learn, and it can save you a lot of money if you do it right the first time, and it'll cost you less than having to redo it over and over. Yep, agreed. Hey, Tony, Kettle Kitchen. He said, get your recipes in writing, not on an electrical device. Good point. Rochelle said, same for me. It's the motivation it gives me. Yep, love it. Aw, I'm glad you're here, Tony. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think it's real important. I had so many books when we left North Carolina, I actually had to part with them. And my sister-in-law helped me to sell them. So that was really cool because I really didn't want to part with a lot of them. But now we have a lot of skills books. So we have all these skills books. I mean, I'm sitting here right here at my desk, which is a nightmare, I might add. And I've got a soap crafting book. So it's just handy to have all that stuff. There's not a whole lot of videos that teach how to properly pull that fence well. True. Absolutely. I remembered when we were pulling our fence, Ryan did it when he was younger, when he worked on a sheep farm. And we were pulling our fence, and it was not the hog panel, the outer perimeter one. And I was like, all right, that's enough. He's like, no, it's not enough. You got to pull it more. It's crazy. Forgot to take a video of my Christmas containers in the dark. Aw. And now you're in bed, Rochelle, right? She's not getting up out of that warm bed. I still have to make that sourdough bread. Bunky gifted me Mastering Bread book for my birthday. Oh, how sweet of her. You'll get to it, Grape Jams. You have a lot going on with the girls and your family. So, Lisa, that is funny. My personal library changed from autobiographies and nonfiction to skill set books. What type of books did I have to part with? Some of them were autobiographies, some nonfiction, and some fiction. A lot of them, well, I shouldn't say that. I still have several totes of my psychology books because I love psychology. She's on the couch cuddling with Dex. Nice. But yeah, I have a lot of them. But now we have a lot of homestead books. I have a lot of John Grisham books. I need to get caught up on them. I have a friend of ours who actually gave us the grinder in that video. because he got a different grinder. So he sent that one to us. So God bless him for that. He sent us that grinder. But what he does is he gets a John Grisham book. He reads it and then sends it to me to read because I like John Grisham. So I am so far behind. I need to get caught up. I know, right, Annette? It is fascinating. Oh, Annette, I got to tell you a story. When I started college, you got to start with all the not CEUs, excuse me. You have to start with all the gen ed credits, and go through all that stuff, right? And it's okay, but it's boring because you want to get to your classes, right? I was dying to do abnormal psychology because I've always been fascinated by the brain and schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and how it affects people and all that jazz. Prereqs. And man, that was my favorite class. That and my master's level diagnosing was just amazing. Janice, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But you know what I love about it is I use them as a reference. I don't sit down and read them thoroughly, but I kind of use it as a reference when I'm wanting to do something. But I don't have the time to. You found my jam. That's funny. Psychology is absolutely fascinating to me. So what else about skill sets? I know Tony at Kettle Kitchen probably can say something about skill sets because I'm going to put him on the spot because Tony, if I'm correct, right before you started your channel, you'd been starting canning and all that stuff and just got to it, if I'm correct. Or not long before all that. Pasta making. Nice. Okay, cool. Have fun, Gwen. Good night. Pasta making. Yeah, pasta making. I haven't made pasta since I was in my 20s. I should get back to it and try it again. Bread making. Yep, bread making. Pasta I made, I'm trying to think, when I was in my 20s, I think I made lasagna noodles. But I would like to get back to it. That would be awesome. Bread making for Tony, pasta making. Nice. Basic baking, cooking, and the like. If I add the book to my cart but check out later, I don't know. Don't worry about it, Alicia. Don't worry about it at all. I have a pasta book from the library on the table. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I know. It's funny, Rochelle. I know that you and I talked about, or you posted, I can't remember. You talked about buying fresh pasta in the refrigerated section, and I looked in ours. They don't have it. And I was telling Annette earlier that we're in December with Angela at the Inquisitive Farm Wife, and I'm making a certain dip and I need wonton wrappers, and I went to Rapid City and could not find them. Can you believe that? So I may have to make them or use an alternative. Great jams. We made fresh pasta over the summer because we had so many duck eggs, and our Amish neighbors convinced us that duck eggs are the best to make noodles and pasta. I've heard that too. Tony said budgeting, making meals, and leftover stretch make that nickel squeak so loud. Eat your. Yeah, really. And it was Walmart. Didn't have them. And I went to 2 different Walmarts, didn't have them. I think that the Walmart would have had fresh pasta, but locally they don't have it here. We went to the deli, they don't have it. Flour, salt, eggs, and a bit of oil. Yep. Yeah, I bet that pasta was good with the duck eggs. Yeah, I mean, they have like the fresh tortellini, that's it. But most of the time they have the dried tortellini. Yep, none were in the freezer. I've seen egg roll wrappers in North Carolina that were in the refrigerator. They didn't have them in the refrigerator or the freezer. Oh, I'm sure it was very yellow because of that rich duck egg. My husband would research N scale, train, O scale, and RC cars. Hobby stores wouldn't help. So that's how we learned about YouTube. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was home. I was working remotely when we first moved here, and then that didn't work out because the position was required in person. And so I was home for a bit during the whole beginning of 2020 when everything was going on. And then I was watching things on YouTube. Salting meats to preserve it. I have not. I've heard of it. I have the Ball Book of Preserving, and there's curing in there. I'll have to see if there's salting meat for preservation. Skill sets. Let me see here. Oh, prosciutto would be great. You got to hang that for a long time. Somebody on Instagram just posted that they've been hanging it in there. Rochelle, if I remember, I'll send it to you after the live. I think it was Peaslee Homestead. Peaslee Homestead. She put a post out of the prosciutto she's got hanging. Skill sets really are about adapting what you have, what you can do with it, learning something you can use when necessary. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We will be smoking jerky soon, hopefully this week. We ended up freezing the venison because we weren't ready. And it's just not all going to fit in the dehydrator. So we're going to do a couple different recipes and batches. And so we have some we're going to slice and make jerky out of. We're going to do that first and soak it in the brine and all that and smoke it. And then we have a lot of the little bits that in the video I called scrap. And we're going to put that through a grinder and make jerky out of that. My teeth aren't the greatest. And so the last thing I want is to bite down on the jerky and break a tooth. Even though I like it. I got to fix up the smoker we hauled over from Italy. Yeah, get back to smoking things. Absolutely. That's great, Janice. That's really great. I hope it turns out. And you know what? Regardless of how it turns out, you're going to learn. That's the really cool part. You're going to have a lot more skills in your repertoire. They used to salt meats here and store them in a hole in the floor. Lasted all winter. Fascinating. Fascinating. A year in the water heater closet. Cheeses last year. That was fun. Our cheddar turned out good. Good for you guys. Wow. Oh, this thing is jumping on me again. Bear with me. You like moist jerky. Yeah, we're going to try and do some of the ground one where you shoot it out of the gun and stuff. I think that's important to know different kinds because, you want to use all the pieces. Processing milk is also a good skill set to learn. I was scrambling when we had so much milk last year. Oh, yeah, I bet grape jams. Yeah, we have a sweet and hot for the strips of jerky, and then we're going to figure out the one with the gun. I have to get a gun for it. In fact, I have someone we know who has one of those shooter guns and is going to bring it on Monday. Hey, Joe Serrano. Hope you're doing well. What are some skill sets that you're looking to learn? I'm curious. What skill sets you're looking to learn. Also, what skill sets do you find that you need to share? Or how do you decide what to share? I think that's important because I think it's really important that we all share these things and learn from each other. Learning to make homemade condiments. Yep. That's awesome. I have to tell you, I made that homemade mayo. I made it with olive oil, and I know they say not to, but avocado oil is really expensive. I made it with olive oil, and it was the most disgusting thing I've ever ate in my life. I was not happy with it. Tony said soap making, candle making. Nice. Tony, I rendered pork lard from the half pig that we got, and I'm going to use it for soap. And so what I read was to use lard and coconut oil, because lard is soft, coconut oil is hard, and it really makes a nice balanced bar. But soap is not near as bad as you think. I was intimidated by the lye, but you have to be very careful. That's all. Always follow the instructions. Always follow the instructions. Because that's what's really important. Better gardening, make it so if my mother walks past, it doesn't die. That's a good point, Dark Lord Minute. Rochelle's learning about terrariums. Yeah, candle making is easier than soap making, because candle making, you're simply melting down the wax. I have a kettle with a spout pour at the bottom, was how I made mine. But I think for me, the harder part with the candles was, the wicks. The wicks wouldn't stick to the bottom. They kept coming up. I got to keep improvising. It was really a pain in the neck. To me, the soap, my biggest problem was that I always call it I wanted to get 2 cans of green beans, and I came home and found out I had a can of green beans and a can of peas because I grabbed the wrong can. I did that with my lye. So the first 2 batches I made did not harden up at all. And then once I realized I had the wrong lye, now it's fine. Let's see here. Oops. I still need to get up the nerve to make soap. It's intimidating to me. Yeah, Janice, I've got some videos. It's really easy. It's really not too bad. Have a good evening, Janice. Thanks for coming. So the homemade mayo, they said not to use olive oil because the flavor is too strong. But it's all I had, and I wasn't going to use avocado oil because I looked to buy it in the store. I didn't even have what they needed for like $17, and I wasn't buying it. So I used the olive oil. It had the most awful flavor to it. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I think I'm going to try that next time. You want to know something? I found a Hellmann's mayonnaise, because that's what we liked. A Hellmann's mayonnaise copycat recipe, which I'm going to try, and I think it uses canola oil. But yeah, it was the grossest thing I've ever tasted. And trust me, I don't complain. I just eat. It was bad. I couldn't even eat it. Brian says, I want to learn how to make good old lye soap. Nice. Yeah, I've got the lye. So, I mean, I'll be making it. I'll probably throw the coconut oil in there because I did hear that the lye is a soft bar compared to without the coconut oil. If it has the coconut oil, it makes it harder, so it lasts longer and it lathers good. But to each his own. I totally respect that. Canola isn't. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Processing, butchering, sewing, crochet, tanning, hunting. Oh, it's all fine and good. It's all fine and good. You gotta, but it's live and learn, right? Live and learn. I know canola is not good for me, but I don't use it a lot. In fact, I've cut so much mayo out of our diet, and the reason why is not because it's bad for me. I'll be honest. It's because I saw bioengineered ingredients on it, so I refuse to stop buying my brand anymore. So we actually bought Duke's, and I don't care for it, but I have it in the house. Yeah. Nutivia. I think I have Nutivia. No, Rochelle, I tried to turn it into anything. It was horrible. Horrible. Making it with grapeseed oil. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you, Joe. I will try that with grapeseed oil. We also decided that you need to be in a good mood before making mayo because it doesn't always turn out, LOL. That's a good point. I had no problem. It went up, what do you call it? Emulsified right away. I couldn't believe the taste. They are right to not use olive oil, I'll tell you that much. The girl said skill set. So this is from the Vineyard Chicks. To figure out how to put electric in a barn and drilling a shallow well. Huh. Well, you're teaching those girls well, let me tell you. Yeah, Duke's has got a little bit of a kick to it. I'm not crazy about it, but it was natural ingredients. That's why I did it. Hey, Carla, no worries at all. Lurk away, girl. Lurk away. Trying to think what else. Anything else I missed about sharing skill sets? Thanks for listening to my soapbox earlier. I tried not to make it too bad because that was the one thing that just irritated me about the inappropriate content that's on there. Well, guys, it is just about an hour. I'm just giving you guys a minute to see if anyone's chatting. Otherwise, I'm going to get going. As usual, I'm sitting by the wood pellet stove and my nose gets all stuffy, so pardon the sniffle. But I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you coming by. You guys are here every week, and I really appreciate it. So have a great weekend, and thanks for your support as always. Take care, y'all. Bye.